finishes up, we kick ourselves onto the screen, and there we are. Hi, I am Dave Golovin, and this is Boogie with the Bull 2.0. An important thing to let you know. Today is Tuesday, November 4th, and you might have an election day where you are. An election for mayor, an election for governor, an election for Senate, House, whatever. Vote Republican. That's all I have to say. To my Democrat friends, the reason that I say vote Republican today is that you Democrats are all messed up. Chuck Schumer wanted to play this game to make President Trump do everything. Well, you got a partial snap infusion of money from President Trump. The rest of it, what you need is a infusion of Snap's own money that Snap can use because President Trump can't redirect money that wasn't allocated to Snap to begin with. So you Democrats need to get your butts into the Senate, and you need to approve the clean, continuous resolution right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, right now, today, now. Go and do it. And if you can't do it, write a letter of resignation and leave. Because the next thing that's coming is if you can't, Senate Majority Leader John Thune needs to invoke the nuclear option, which means that a majority of everybody who votes, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent or whatever, means that everything passes. We need to end the filibuster, or the Democrats having the ability to use the filibuster, because they will use it to keep things that need to get passed right now from getting passed. And they know they will play the same game with the Democrats with the Republicans, if they ever get the opportunity to be in power again. And I'm sure at some point in the future, they will. Okay? Whether it's in 2026, whether it's in 2030, whether it's by order of God, they will, in fact, someday be back and be in control of the United States of America. Long before they get there, long before they ruin the country any more than they already have, they need to be put in a place where they need to just sit there and accept what is going to happen. Okay? Because it's the same game they would play with the Republicans. I can't imagine that there is any Democrat that has seen what President Trump did. Put money into SNAP, a contingency fund that they had access to, they can use. But it's not enough. It's a $5 billion fund, and according to Carolyn Levitt, they need $9 billion to operate SNAP. Okay? So they need access to their own SNAP money, USDA money, whatever you want to call it. They need access to it to operate SNAP. And as I have said, approve it so that everybody who's on it right now, regardless, gets a check in November and again in December. And then, if you want, stick on them. They don't get a check in January. And we can spend November and December looking for everybody who doesn't get a check. And on top of that, we can invoke the requirements that you get a check. If you are a United States citizen, born here or naturalized a citizen here, you are entitled to a SNAP check. But in order to get that entitlement, you either do 15 hours of community or you do 15 hours of work or you go to school for 15 hours, hopefully in something that you can graduate with and get a job. Okay? And you cannot tell me that 15 hours is too much. It's 5 3-hour days, 3 5-hour days, 2 7.5-hour days, 1 15-hour day. You can do it. And if you can't figure out how to do it, come on to the program with me. I'll be gentle. I'll be polite. I'll show you how easy it is for you to do it. If you're on Facebook and you're sending me all kinds of messages right now through Messenger, come on to the program right now and let's talk. Because I'm not going to answer Messenger right now. If you're on YouTube, you're seeing what's going on Facebook. People sending messages here and there, and I should just move it over to YouTube and do it there. But I don't want to do it there because I'm really not set up to do it. The answer is Chuck Schumer needs to end the shutdown, reopens the government. The government can reopen the House and reopen the Senate. The House has already done their work. They passed the clean, continuous resolution. They may need to go back in and extend it because November 21st, we run out of money and they have to do it again. That extension can all go over to the Senate, and the Senate can approve it clean, nothing attached to it, operates the government for however long, I don't know. Then you add whatever we need to do to make sure SNAP works the way it's supposed to. And that the people on it are only the people that need to be on it. That's it. It's not hard. Johnny Cage is with us right now, and I'm glad to see that Johnny is here. But, that's what it is. It's that easy. We end the shutdown by going nuclear. We pass the clean, continuous resolution, maybe with an extension so that it gets past January 21st, because Chuck Schumer, knowing the asshole that he is going to do another shutdown, I'm sure, or try to extend this one. We just need to bring the House and the Senate back. And the only way you can do that is by passing the clean, continuous resolution and opening up the government and opening up the House and Senate to do their jobs. John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, all I can say to you, if I ever had the opportunity right now, is you need to pass the nuclear option, kill the filibuster in the Senate, do what you need to do, bring this country back to where it needs to be. Johnny, I don't know what you mean by Muraz Atax is alive. I'm sorry, but I don't have any idea what you mean. So I'm here and I'm telling America this is what needs to be done. And I can only say it so many times because a lot of the people that need to listen to me aren't listening to me because they don't care. Democrats need to pass the clean, continuous resolution in the House. In the clean, continuous resolution in the Senate right now. No pork, no additives, no nothing. They just need to pass it. It goes to the president, who will sign it, and then the House and the Senate can open up and they can deal with the SNAP emergency, and that's it. Nothing else. I still think that health care is a joke because Democrats want a continuation of these subsidies. And as I said earlier this morning, the subsidy is you have a $400 policy a month. Say you have policy that runs $400 a month. You pay $1. That means you paid $1. But you also paid a subsidy to that insurance company of $399 so you could get that $400 policy. You paid $400 for that policy. The subsidy goes to the insurance company. It doesn't go to the government to help you. It goes to that insurance company to sell you a policy. Barack Obama knew that when we passed the Affordable Care Act. He knew that subsidy thing was going to stop. And that subsidy was going to stop because either a Republican or a Democrat or both were going to say, hey, that subsidy is really BS. It's the American people funding the insurance company that sold them the policy. I'm sure there are insurance companies out there that will do the right thing and bring the price of a policy down for you to afford. Why? Maybe they won't, but if they do, they understand that you can only afford to pay so much. If they jack it up so that you're subsidizing them, you're not going to buy their product. You're going to go to another insurance company, and you'll keep going until you find one that will sell you a policy that you can afford. Don't be stupid. It's out there. You can put an insurance company on all four corners, a different one on all four corners of the intersection. The one that sells the policy you need for the right price will get all the business. I watched a guy that owns 4 gas stations in Massachusetts, all on a corner, do that once. He lowered the price at one brand on one corner. The other 3 went broke. And the 4th one sold enough to make up for everybody else. They all lowered their price, and they all divided what business there was. Okay, I'm not going to get into what you think the Affordable Care Act is, okay? We're using it as an example that you can subsidize. You don't need to subsidize insurance companies. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about child trafficking or anything else. You can bring that in at another time, or you put links on in my chat room that I assume are your program on YouTube, and you can do whatever you want on your program. We're just talking about it's time for the people who make the decisions right now to represent you to the best of their abilities. And that is reopening the government, passing the clean continuous resolution, then taking care of SNAP so that it has enough money. And as I said this morning, then leave it alone and operate it. Leave everybody that's on it through through November and even December, if that's what you want to do. Then you start January fresh. And in January, you put the requirements on it. You have to be an American, naturalized or born here. You have to be someone who is willing to do 15 hours of community service every week, or you need to work 15 hours a week, or you need to go to school 15 hours a week. The only thing I haven't heard them mention is daycare. Daycare, I'm assuming, will probably be provided. If you really need it, I'm sure it will be there because it's workfare. And the only thing I can think of related to workfare is, as I've said before, Ernie Conyu's workfare, which was you had to do this, you had to do that, you had to do this, and if you needed childcare, we made sure you got it. But if you want to sit around your apartment with your 7 kids and just exist, because other people pay for your food, other people pay for your apartment, other people pay for everything you need, you're going to get evicted. Because that's not what the program is, and you know it. Okay? And the way they're going to do it is, if you have children over 7 years old, they don't qualify anymore, and you don't qualify anymore. And you're going to have to get a job to feed your children. And if that really is what happens, I'm sorry that happens. If you're an illegal immigrant and it happens to you and your family, become a naturalized American, and maybe it won't. I can't tell you for sure. So if you are an American citizen and you can vote today, you need to vote Republican. Because if you're in New York and you're looking at what's coming to you, if you vote Democrat, it is not going to be pretty. It is not going to be what you want. Socialism is not what you want. We are a capitalistic society, and we always have been. Okay? That's just how it is. And the lowest priced capital is going to be the company that makes the money. That's just the way it is. Or some things you're going to buy because of the brand. You're going to buy a Curtis Mathis TV because they were and probably still are the best. You're going to buy a Dell because it's the best. Or you're going to buy a whatever you think is the best. You're going to look around for what you need, and you're going to buy it. Or expenses in your house. Eggs are down. Other food items are down. If you shop at the right place, you can find meat down. So prices are working their way on going down. President Trump promised you that prices would go down, and they are. Gas prices are going down. Gas was $2.69 at one BJ's. Now it's down to $2.57. So it's slowly coming down, and it will. And BJ's, who likes to be 25, 30 cents less a gallon than everybody else, well, they're going to bring their price down. They're going to sell a hell of a lot of gas. And if the others want to sell it, they're going to bring it down to the same price. Especially the ones next door to a BJ's. Because that's where people are going to go and line up and buy gas. And no one's going to leave the line to buy gas from you if it's higher than what they will pay there. That's just how it works. We could take everybody who needs insurance and put them in a pool. And if the majority of the people in the pool don't use it, you might get a rebate. If nobody in the pool uses it, you might get a rebate. But all the free things that you need, one or two physicals each year, one or two looks at your teeth each year, a couple of eye appointments to look at your eyes to make sure they work, your ears work. We know Big Pharma and Big Medical all know that can be done. That can be given to you. The idea is to keep you well and highly maintained so that you don't cost them $80,000. Or that an illegal immigrant who doesn't have a job even doesn't cost them $80,000, and now it costs you $160,000 to be insured. We don't need to pay for everybody. We just need to pay for us, and then maybe help other Americans that deserve this program and try to get off the ones we can. In that requirement of 15 hours a week of work, you might find that maybe that just barely gets you off. Maybe 30 hours gets you off. 30 hours is 3 10-hour days, 5 6-hour days. It can be done. You will feel so much better about yourself for being able to provide for you if you're single, you if you're a family. And I don't want to hear women can't work, they need to stay home, pump out babies, and take care of the house. I'm a house husband. I stay at home and I keep the house clean, or at least somewhat clean, with things that I can do because I am retired. I am retired because my medical stuff got worse. They take care of me to the best of their abilities. But I'm home all day. So that's what I do. And I don't have any problem with that. You can call me a woman, you can call me whatever you want. I don't give a damn. My desk is right here, and my office is right here. I work right here. I don't get paid for what I do. Well, I do get paid. All right? I pay my bills, at least whatever. So I really don't want to hear that you're upset because your wife goes out and works and she makes the money and you don't. If you want to spank your kids for being wrong, you can come home and spank your kids for being wrong. My thing is, I don't need to spank my kids. My 3 sons are bigger than me, stronger than me, and if I ever raise my hand, they're old enough that if I ever raise my hand, they could spank me. I had, in my first relationship, had a 5-year-old daughter. Wasn't mine by birth, but I raised her to age 5. I'd never spanked her in that entire relationship. I could sit with her on my lap and go, "What did you do?" And she could say, "Tell me what she did." And I could say, "Do you know that that was wrong?" And she would say, "Yes, I know it was wrong, but this is why I did it." And I said to her, "Well, could you have done this differently?" And things got along. Things got right. So, if it works with your kids, it'll work with your grandkids the same way. You can sit them down and say, "Hey, I don't want, I understand that people in this world got corporal punishment for doing things that they did. Well, we need to change that. We need to make sure they don't get that. But a love spank here and a love spank there, yeah, that will help if you think it needs to be done. Or maybe if it goes worse, maybe you shouldn't have kids. And not everybody wants kids, and I understand that. You want free market capitalism is garbage. Free market is the term you're looking for. No, I don't want free market capitalism that people go to work and they give stuff away. No, that is not what I want, Johnny. Okay? But if you want to make $1 billion, you can. If you want to make $1 million, you can. If you want to make a couple $100,000, you can. But it's not my responsibility when I make $200, $300 billion, $500 billion to give it back to you because you want to sit on your ass all day. Okay? It's not my responsibility to give it back to you. We live in the greatest country in the world. If you want to make money, you will make money. You'll figure out a way and you will make money. And if you need to sit in front of your computer all day, yeah, you can go online and make all the money you want to make the right way, not ripping people off. Okay? It's not my responsibility to make sure you make enough money, that I give you enough money for you to survive because I did. It's not my responsibility. And I get tired of hearing that it's Elon Musk's responsibility because he's the wealthiest man on earth. It's his job to make sure the people that don't have it have it. That's socialism. Okay? And if you look at those socialist countries, it doesn't work because you got a bunch of rich people over there that don't do squat for the poor people over there. And 15 hours a week of community service or working or going to school is nothing for the benefits that you get. Okay? Well, you can think I'm wrong. Okay? You can think I'm wrong all you want. You know what? Goodbye to the block list. We'll do that if you come into one of the live chats and you just want to challenge me on everything. Okay? It is not my responsibility to make sure that you can sit on your butt and get everything you need. I'm sorry. That is not what Chuck Schumer had in mind. Because if it was Chuck Schumer's idea that, yeah, you can sit on your butt and everybody else will pay for you, that's what he'd be back, ended his shutdown, and again, allowing the House and the Senate to do their jobs. Because what he's doing right now is he's making $174,000 a year plus his bonus to be Senate Majority Leader for doing nothing except saying, oh, President Trump should do it. President Trump found out what he could do. And he said, the only thing I can do is give access to the USDA contingency funds, which would cover in an emergency SNAP through this period. So the head of the USDA made sure that SNAP was ready to rock and roll. And they are, but they don't have enough. And they can't ask for any more help because they're closed right now. They're shut down. So what we need to do before we reopen them is make sure they have enough to go through the end of the year. November, December. Find as much Doge that needs to be removed from SNAP and remove them. If that includes you sitting in your mother's basement using your mother's internet all day and just saying, we're all bad people because we don't support you. Hey, you get a check until the end of December. January, do something else. Do 15 hours of community service. Do 15 hours of work. Do 15 hours of school. Or tell them something else that you might do that we all need, and you can have your check. But if you want to sit on your rear end and watch TV all day and play video games all day and hope that somebody comes along and takes care of your 7 children and buys the food and pays the rent, come show me how you did it, because that's what I hoped. No, that actually isn't what I hoped. I hoped that I could pay for myself, my wife, my sons, and go from there. No, I'm not asking for a free ride because I know you're not asking for a free ride. That's socialism. It's not capital free market this or free market that. Bullcrap. It's socialism, flat out socialism. That's what Zohan Mondani wants to do in New York, but he wants to do it his way. You can't do this. I'm going to come after you if you're that. Bullcrap. Here in the United States, you go by the United States laws. You want to do Sharia law, then go somewhere that practices Sharia law and live there. A bunch of people want to live together and take care of each other and help each other and raise stuff together and barter it or share it with each other. Yeah, that's a great idea too. But you know what? We need to get rid of income tax because your income shouldn't be taxed. Just like if you own a piece of property, you should not be paying property tax because you shouldn't get charged to use your own piece of property. And you want to see rents go down, then yeah, kick the people that are paying nothing where they live because they're illegal and they think that we should give them everything and we should suffer by doing that. Go somewhere where you can do that. Work is simple. Work is so simple. As I said this morning, you could sit in front of this computer and answer your cell phone and book a reservation or send a truck or send a security car or do just about anything by sitting in front of your computer and answering your phone. So don't tell me it can't be done. And like I said, you might find something that you like doing for more than 15 hours that qualifies for you to get the help that you need. And then you might get to a point where you don't need the help anymore. You still have it there as a safety net, but you don't need the help anymore. That's what people want. That's what people want. That's what people need. That's what people can do. Right now, if you message me on Facebook Messenger, I'm not going to answer it because I'm doing a live broadcast. So either come into the broadcast or get a hold of me after the broadcast ends. It's always an open broadcast. Anybody's welcome. But Johnny Gage got kicked off because I'm not going to sit here with someone in the chat room and go one-on-one with a person who disagrees with everything that comes out of my mouth. We have a president, and Democrats don't agree with what comes out of his mouth every single time. You don't have to agree with what comes out of my mouth. You can turn the button right. You can turn the button left. You can watch something else. You choose not to watch. You have an opportunity, if you disagree, to come on and you treat me civilly, I'll treat you civilly, and we'll have a conversation. But we will not ever agree on, I need to get a job that allows me to pay for your everything and not be able to get mine. And most of what I do in my quote unquote work is free. So I have almost no bills. I have one bill related to this broadcast. Got to make sure I have internet. Okay? Everything else, taken care of. Somebody else doesn't pay for it, but it's taken care of. Because I figured out ways to do it. And you can figure out the same way. You can open up your laptop, look at your camera, talk to your microphone, and tell people what you think. I earned the right to do that because I worked for 40 years and I ended up on Social Security. Disability because of my heredity, my being bipolar. Then my macular edema, I think, got added to it. Then my Lewy body dementia got added to it. And then my Parkinson's got added to it. All of which I'm working on every single day to do the best I can and make sure they one day go away. I'm taking care of me the best I can so that you don't have to take care of me. But I'm not going to take care of you and not be able to take care of me. There's no reason why you can't do 15 hours of community service or 15 hours of work or 15 hours of school and earn yourself a SNAP check. There is no reason at all. There is no reason why Elon Musk, the wealthiest man in the world who made money by investing money and doing things and building other companies and merging it all together, who gets a check for almost $1 trillion a year in working, that he needs to pay for you, because he doesn't. He's given you things maybe in this world that might help you, but he's not responsible for paying for you because he made $1 trillion. He's not. No. Go out and make yourself $1, then make yourself $100, then make yourself $1,000, then make yourself $100,000, then make yourself $1 million, then make yourself $1 billion, then maybe one day you'll make yourself $1 trillion. And it'll be hard because it might be something that you really like doing in the beginning, but hey, it's just not selling. I mean, I did it for me. I worked my way through the limousine business as long as I could. I worked myself through the security business, someone else's security business, as long as I could. And along the way, I worked in radio for a couple of years, but I broke the graveyard rule of radio. I fell asleep one night. They couldn't wake me up, so they made sure there was enough music going. And they left me a note that we caught you, and they fired me. And I got another job. I don't remember the job after, but I got another job. And I did the same kind of thing everybody else does. If you got a skill in doing something and you get fired from it, you go to McDonald's, you go to Burger King, you go to this one, you go to that one, because you can still show, oh, yeah, I went out and met my requirement to look for work, but I knew I wasn't going to get hired there. And I didn't, because the guy from McDonald's said, I'm not going to hire you, but the reason I'm not going to hire you is I'm going to spend all this money to train you on how to be a manager and then how to be a general manager. And then you're either going to leave and open your own McDonald's, or you're going to leave and go somewhere else. And I lose all the money I spent on you. And I thanked him very much for that. It was honest, at least. I didn't want to hear it, but it was honest. You can do anything you want in this country. As a citizen, you can do anything you want. Can't guarantee that you're going to make money from it. So then you might have to go and do something else. I'm not looking for money for a lot of things that I do. Why? Because it doesn't mean anything. Like I said, it's so easy that as long as your internet's paid, you can turn on your computer, look at your camera, look at your mic, and do what I do. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Anybody can do it. No, I don't ask you for your money because I don't want your money. It would be nice to sell a mug here and there, but that didn't work, so I stopped trying to sell them. I wanted to do t-shirts, but I didn't think people would buy them, so I don't do them. If I tell you something that's going on in your world, and then you look at it and you don't like it, I did my job. If you do like it, I did my job. If I bring you here and you tell me why you don't like it, or what you would do to fix it, we both did our job. It's that simple. We're here normally Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:30 a.m. On Friday, we call it Red Friday Morning Caffeine because red stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. And we talk about everybody. If you're in the military, we thank you. If you're in ICE, we thank you. If you're in the National Guard, we thank you. If you're a state police officer or a local law enforcement officer, we thank you. If you are in any kind of first responder, we thank you. Why? Because all of you people make us safe. And we go on with whatever comes out of our mouth, whether it's political or not political or anything else. Drink coffee and have fun. That's what I said this morning. It's that simple. If you want to watch, you watch. If you don't want to watch, you don't watch. And you tell your friends not to watch, but maybe they watch anyway. If I reach one person and they like what I said, and they think about it and they like it even more, and then maybe they go do it. I'm not ever going to tell you to go do it, but if you go do it and it works for you, you're going to tell other people. If it doesn't work for you, you're going to tell other people. But it's that simple. We've got a bunch of senators, and one side of the aisle is acting rogue. They don't want us to fix problems. They want to pass it on to somebody else and have them fix it. Then they want $1.5 trillion to go do what they want to go do. Well, it doesn't work that way. There's 100 of you people in the Senate, and you all need to agree, especially for $1.5 trillion. Because they'd agree to spend $1.5 trillion if it was for the bettering of all Americans, because that's their job. But what you show isn't. It's not our fault for what has happened up to now. So it's not our fault to correct it or continue your mistakes that you made along the way, regardless of what party you were in. So the way to fix it right now is, like I said, we pass the clean, actually we bring the government back. That opens the House and the Senate. In the Senate, they pass the clean continuing resolution right away. Trump signs it right away like he wants to. And then we go into a conference room and we work out everything on Snap. And if we don't, the people that are making us not pass it can talk to the judge and explain why it didn't happen. And maybe they'll get in trouble for not doing it. I don't know. I'm being a lot more liberal than I should be when I say, if you got a check in October, you deserve a check in November so that you have a great Thanksgiving. You deserve a check in December so you have a great Christmas. But you might not get a check in January because you may not earn a check or deserve a check. That's the only way I can figure how to make it work. And for all of you people who all of a sudden don't get your check, and because you don't deserve a check anymore, why don't you become the daycare for all the people who need to go do something? And you'll get paid something. I don't know what. Hopefully. It's that simple. If you're talking about food stamps, he was court ordered. Yes, he was court ordered. But his government lawyers proved that he can't do anything because the money that he wanted to use was tariff money. Tariff money has already been allocated to tariff programs. That's what his lawyers said to the judge. If we use tariff money for SNAP, then we can't use tariff money for what it was allocated for. And we don't know for sure that we're ever going to get it back from SNAP. And I guess the judge said, okay, you're right. But then the judge said to them, well, you know what? SNAP has contingency funds. They're supposed to be able to use their contingency funds in a government shutdown. And I'm sure the lawyer said, but the government is shut down, and they closed the House and Senate when they shut down, so they can't give congressional approval to use the contingency funds that they need to use. There's $5 billion sitting there waiting to be used, Irene. And as Carolyn Levitt said this morning in the press conference, half of what we need. We need $9 million to make sure it is properly funded through the shutdown, and we only have 5. So we're going to go broke again. And then we'll end up getting shut down again. We need to work together. Have that $5 billion so everybody who deserves it gets their check. I'm not against who, you know what? The ballroom, Irene, I'll say this and then I'll block you too. Because the ballroom is not taxpayer money. The ballroom is Donald Trump's own personal money along with private donors to build it. There's nothing illegal about that. It's what the government says you need to do. And that's what he did. He raised the $200 million to build it. Okay, you're gone too. He raised the $200 billion, $200 million on his own, like he was supposed to, like presidents for 150 years before him were supposed to do. He offered it once to Barack Obama when he was president. And Barack Obama said no, but it was okay to spend $330 million of your taxpayer money to build a basketball court. You can argue with me all you want about stupid things, and I'll argue back or I'll block you because I just don't want to hear it anymore. He can build it today, finish it today, like he is working on it today. It's a permanent part of the White House. They claimed unused space in the East Wing to build something that we need. The presidents for 150 years have tried to do, but they couldn't do it because they didn't want to ask the taxpayers for the money. So he came along. He's a real estate developer. He knows what he's doing. When the red lights come up in the project, he turns them into green lights by telling everybody that watches, has oversight in what he's doing, what he's going to do. He's going to take an area of the East Wing that was not being used. That's right. The ballroom has nothing to do with SNAP. But Irene said, well, he can build a ballroom, but he can't do SNAP. Well, the truth is, he can build a ballroom, and yes, he can't do SNAP. But what he said through his lawyers was, SNAP has $5 billion worth of contingency money for this exact situation, but they can't use it right now because they haven't been able to go before Congress and get permission. If he could have said, you have my permission as president, it would have happened. He said it would be an honor to make sure that people who deserve the checks get them. I know the ballroom has nothing to do with it, but people keep bringing up the ballroom because he's paying for it out of his own personal pocket. And they don't like him, so they're going to be mad that he's paying for it out of his pocket. I'm ecstatic because as an American, I didn't get a bill for my share of the tax money to build it. I support that he needed it. People were walking around in mud puddles in a tent before. And he said, hey, I can build you an unused space of the White House exactly what you want. It's a gift from me to the future presidents so they can use it. And you know what? If one president decides he or she doesn't want it there anymore, they might be able to go to Congress and ask for the money to destroy it. But I doubt it because it's being built as what is permanent construction at the White House, meaning it's going to be there forever based on 150 years of presidents asking for it. If you don't like what he's doing there and he's paying for what he's doing at the White House, and the White House commissions and agencies say, yeah, you can go ahead and do it. They keep getting upset about it if that's what you want to do. But what you really should be doing is getting upset about the fact that Chuck Schumer is keeping the SNAP checks from going out right now. So people on the program that deserve a check, are entitled to a check, aren't going to get a check. It may not have a Thanksgiving, may not have a Christmas. What we need to do right now, what the Republicans need to do right now, is pass the clean, continuous resolution by going nuclear. And say, hey, if you're a Democrat and you want to vote with us, that gives us more than 60, maybe. That's great. If we need 60 and we got 100 that want to pass it, well, then 50 Republicans said yes and 50 Democrats said yes. Boom, that's the majority. Let's do it. And when that's done, then, like I said, and I keep saying to my broadcast lately, then they can go into a conference room and sit down with Democrats and try to figure out what they can do. But enough is enough. Go nuclear, reclaim the Senate, get rid of the filibuster. Why? Because the next time the Democrats are the majority, you know they're going to take the filibuster away from you. So pass as much as you can put through right now. Put it all through. Overload it. Force the Democrats. Just force it all through. Because if they win, we may never come back again. But at least we got through what needed to get through when we needed to get it through. Anyway, I'm Dave Golovin. You're not. We're looking at 53 minutes into what was supposed to be a 30-minute broadcast, if less. And that's where we are. But yes, the ballroom has nothing to do with it. But if people bring it up like it does, I'm going to throw it back in their faces, and then I'm going to boot them off because I just don't want to hear it anymore. I'm sorry that you had to see it, Irene, but I got to answer everybody. I got to answer everybody. Or at least I think I got to answer everybody. Because if you're watching and you got a question or a comment, I got to respond to it. And I don't charge you 200 stars so that I make money. I want to see your comment. It's truly free to be here. It's truly free to make a comment that I want to see. And if you come on the program, all I ever say is it's the same thing. You can be on the total opposite end of anything with me. Just come on and be civil. Treat me the way you want to be treated. And that's how you will get treated. Leave the crap that you have against me in the green room. Come on and do the broadcast. Have some fun. Drink some coffee. Shake hands as we leave. Go back into the green room. Pick up the fact that you hate me and go away. I don't really care anymore. I can't get us out of the situation that we're in because I don't have the money to get us out of it. And the Democrats wouldn't like how I got us out of the problems that they think that we have. I wouldn't give them $1.5 trillion if I could. Okay? USAID got shut down. Whatever they're doing around the world, you got to take care of America first. You got to take care of Americans first. Then if you got the money to do stupid things around the world, that's great. But anyway, we're going to hit an hour, which I really don't want to do. So I hope any Democrats that are listening will vote Republican, because if they do, we'll show support for what needs to be done. Get a hold of Chuck Schumer in all of his offices, and until you get him on the phone, and if you do get him on the phone, tell him it's time to shut down the shutdown and let us do what needs to be done. And he knows that if he does that, the Republicans are going to make sure by a simple majority in the Senate, the filibuster is done. And then the Republicans are going to do what they need to do. Because the mere fact that the Democrats in that room hate Donald Trump, or want to hate Donald Trump, or don't even understand why they hate Donald Trump. Their party told them they hate Donald Trump. They got to hate everything that comes out of his mouth. Okay, hate everything that comes out of his mouth, but God damn it, this country needs to be fixed. And let's fix it. And let's fix it the right way. And the right way is to open up the government, open up the House and the Senate, pass the clean continuing resolution, and then immediately go from that to standalone for SNAP, so that when this happens again, and I'm sure it will, SNAP is left alone. That's the way it needs to be. And the Democrats may not like that, and you know what? I don't care. I thank God every day for what we have. And sometimes more than once a day. Okay? And I'm happy to be here to try to tell you how I feel, and hope maybe that's how you feel. But like I said, bring a pad of paper every time you come. Write down what you like, write down what you hate. At the end, when I'm done, cross out everything you like and see everything you hate, and see if we can work it out between you and me. I hope we can. Make a comment in the live chat with a thumbs up, tell me what you like, and make a comment in the live chat with a thumbs down, so I know that you didn't like something, and I'm going to change it. But when you're not watching me, watch Michael Anthony and catch his words of wisdom if he's on a broadcast. And if he's not on a broadcast, catch his words of wisdom on his profile or in your news feed. Make sure you watch the Jim Price Show daily update at 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and learn what you think you might already know, but you don't. So let him watch it. I gotta go. My phone's ringing.